They challenge us. They take us to worlds full of heroes and titans. For Respawn, building the best interactive entertainment begins with the cloud.
Hello everyone, welcome to the late game, episode 10, putting this call off hold, resuming. With me I have, from the awesome graphic that you can see is just a screen grab of Skype, I have dude 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is me hiding their Skype names. It's actually JaKaTaK in the top left. In the bottom left we have QXC. On the bottom right we have Stephen Bonnell, aka Destiny. And in the top right we have Cass. Thank you all for coming. JaKaTaK. Today we're going to be using your map. Extremely excited for it. Are you excited to see QXC and Cass put this into action?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It's going to be the best game of StarCraft ever played in the history of StarCraft.
Fucking
yeah, that seems
ever.
totally correct.
Absolutely correct. It's the only possible way that this could work out.
Correctamundo. Yeah. Steven, did you kill that Terran?
Yeah, I did.
You sound sad about it. What's wrong?
He was like a master's level Terran, dude. Fucking Widow Mines are so fucking good now. Holy fucking shit, it's disgusting how good Widow Mines are.
What makes you say that?
That was like 4 months ago. You have to
adjust.
But
the adjustment is like insane fucking micro. Holy shit.
Just play Roach Hydra.
Maybe a Roach Hydra Swarm Host.
They're just learning how to micro and they're doing really well versus mines. So
yeah. Kass is basically saying you don't know how to micro.
I mean, isn't that what Terrans always say when their race is OP as fuck? remember, like early 2011 when it was like, oh no, it's just that all the best players in the world right now are Terran.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so we are gonna have some fun today. We're gonna talk Terran. So we'll have that Widow Mine discussion later, I guess. We're gonna talk some Terran. We are also going to have a Legacy of the Void show match, like I said, between Cass and QXC, and do a little balanced discussion. Talk about 4GG's run through DreamHack winner, and coming up IEM. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Awesome week.
Yeah, IEM has a really stacked lineup.
IEM's going to be freaking awesome. So with that, I think we're gonna kick it right away. So let's get into this game. It's going to be QXC versus Cass game 1. We're going to do a best of 3. Even if someone gets 2-0'd, we're going to continue on to the game 3 just to give us more to talk about for the show. So with that, we're going to have QXC and Cass go ahead and drop from the call, and QXC will communicate through chat, and we'll get this set up. Bye, Cass.
Okay. Bye.
All right.
Are either of you guys on that Clicker Heroes hype train?
No, I still haven't gotten into that.
I did Cookie Clicker, man, and I'll never go into a clicker game ever again.
This one is like Cookie Clicker times 4 million other different, like, addicting random fucking things. It's probably good that you don't actually go into that.
Yeah, man. I have that super strong pull where if I start something, I absolutely have to finish it. So, like, went through Cookie Clicker and got, like, every single achievement you can possibly get, and I just shut it off and was like, I'm never doing this ever again.
So I haven't played it, but what, you get the game and then you buy the cheat that literally you just hold down a button and it cheats for you? Like with the clicking?
You mean Cookie Clicker, or you mean the
yeah, Cookie Clicker.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but, I mean, why do that when you could break your wrist and just, like, click a million times? I mean, think about it. What would you rather do? I chose to break my wrist.
I'd rather play a real game, but that's just me. All right.
Sorry, is Cookie Clicker not real enough for you, motherfucker?
Got an anti-cookie clicker hipster over here.
StarCraft 2 is the only real game in the world. There's no other game.
That's right.
All right. So in the bottom right, we have in the purple, the Nurple, the one, the only, Complexity QXC. And in the top left, red, dead, the aggressive Cass. Speaking of aggressive, I like that you start off with 12 workers. I mean, there's none of this. Let's talk about Tekken and Waffles talk time. There's no more time for that. It's now, all right, a plan has been made, and we're going to get into it. And I like that.
No, it's fucking terrible. That won't stick.
You don't think?
No, I know it won't, actually. I'm 100 million trillion % positive.
Are
What do you think they're going to do in place of it? Because they seem really aggressive about like wanting to change that dead space in the beginning of the game. Like, what do you think they're going to do to change it? Or what would you do?
Maybe go up. Maybe start with 7 workers. The problem is that doing this 12 worker start, you eliminate so many potential openings that you shoehorn everybody into these optimal early game builds that are all going to be macro focused. That I feel like it kills a ton of the early game stuff. It might not seem like it, but a lot of early game pressure informs a lot of the standard macro builds. So like the fact that it's kind of like, I'm trying to think. It would be like designing like the coolest car in the world, putting no safety features on it. Like there's a lot more cool shit that you could do with cars, I'm sure, like making them faster, look cooler, whatever. But you have to have like the airbags, so they have to be designed in such a way that they don't like roll over or something, right? A lot of the macro builds in StarCraft 2 are the same thing, where it's like, oh, well, here's like a standard macro build that gets you into a really good spot at 15 minutes. The way that those builds are designed are all designed in the way that they are, keeping other builds that are early game that could kill you in mind. So by just making it so that everybody starts with 12 workers, you're changing up the way you're making the build so much greedier. Like everything is going to change so much in the early game, but not just change in the early game, because a lot of people say that. A lot of people are like, oh well, it's okay for change, but I think change in a bad way, and that it's going to make a lot of things like more linear.
You know, I can see that, but we'll see how. You know, I think that's something that definitely they need more time to play out. But let's talk about how they opened. QXC.
Did the game freeze for anybody else?
No, is it frozen for you?
Yeah. Weird. Okay, sorry. I'll just here. Go for it.
So, Cass is saying he's had a little lag. I'm not seeing the lag. In the bottom, QXC went with like Rax first. I think he went into Rax first. Kind of missed it, but it looked like Cass went for CC first right away, then Gas first, and I'm just probably going to go into Reaper Banshee play, or Raven Banshee play. QXC, I feel like he went for the barracks first opening. Now I kind of missed that because we were discussing what was going on, but I mean, so yeah, we're not seeing too much aggression. I mean, we're almost at 5 minutes, and no one has a unit like in the show matches we were seeing at BlizzCon. No one has that little Herc or whatever going over to harass early on.
I feel like there's in general there's been this like major sort of like 2 basic ways that people have been approaching the mod, where a lot of players who are used to playing, they have their standard builds and they have their stuff that they're used to, will like mostly do what they're used to doing. Like at a TVZ, they'll still open Reactor, Hellion, and all that kind of stuff, and then they'll just make these small additions and changes. And then like there are other people who are just like, all right, I'm gonna like rush to the new units, or I'm gonna like be super aggressive and do some new chief stuff. Speaking of which, I feel like it's not really that the 12 workers eliminates a lot of aggressive, cheesy builds. I think it just sort of changes it around. Like, because starting with 12 workers allows you to tech up super fast and get into gas, and it becomes more risky to stay on one base than it used to be, like in a major way, because you can get stuck on base and contains are like way stronger. So like doing something like a early tech rush to something and not expanding and using that to like make an aggressive push, I think is sort of akin to like the old proxies. Actually, I think the
the thing is,
racks are even stronger than they used to be.
I mean, I'm so glad that you said it, because what you just said is like, every build that you just said, like you can rush to tech or you can take an expansion or whatever, like all of those builds exist in Wings of Liberty, plus there's the added risk of the early aggression. So think of like a ZVZ. Like in ZVZ, I cannot imagine there ever being a different opening now other than 15 hatch. Because why would you early pool when you know that you never, ever, ever, you never have to defend 9 pool anymore. You never have to defend 10 pool bailing. You never have to defend 7 pool. You're always going to 15 hatch. And if you do any kind of one-base play, well, those other builds, like, people would talk about, like, 15 pool versus 15 hatch. Well, if you queen right and you do everything perfectly, 15 pool is about the same eco kind of as 15 hatch, and it's okay, you know? Well, if you eliminate all of those early pool builds, which are something that the 15 pool excelled against defending, now there's like no reason. Why the fuck would you ever 15 pool when you can just 15 hatch every single game, you know?
Yeah, I think at least for ZVZ, I think in this build the Ravager Rush is really, really powerful and really scary. You can get 7 Ravagers with like 5 minutes, and it's like really frightening to deal with.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Wow! 7 hit points. GG QXC. Saves the stem.
How many shots did that Cyclone get off to kill that Banshee?
Well, I was not counting, actually. Usually I count every shot, but I was not that time.
Well, because I saw it, and it looked like it went down pretty quick, so is that maybe like 3 shots?
Yeah, well, they shoot twice as fast when they're in the lock-on mode, and QXC was doing some nice micro, keeping it safe. Even doing the repair, which is always nice to see.
I haven't seen Banshee opener too much lately. I feel like the Raven kind of phased that out for a little while.
Well, it's got the +1 range now, which is nice, and cloak comes standard. So
It's like the Dark Templar.
yeah, man. Except it's got range and it flies.
I love when they try to compare the Dark.
Oh, massive lag going on. Uh-oh. It's not laggy for me. Is it laggy for either of you?
Yeah, there's a little like small stutter, like every couple seconds it's chop, chop, chop.
Way to go, guys.
We're killing esports, man. I have 0 problem.
I'm gonna leave. Maybe it might be me. My game crashed a while ago. I don't even know how I'm still in the game, so I'm just gonna exit out. I'm looking at the stream anyway.
Okay.
Alright.
Maybe, if I can figure out how to exit. Hold on. It hasn't shown me lagging, has it?
No, it didn't show anyone lag.
Lagging. For me, at
Okay.
least. And I haven't had any network spikes or anything like that.
I exited. Go for it.
So you're gonna watch from the stream then?
Yeah, for this game I will. Oh wait, did you guys...
We're resuming from replay.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, what were you guys discussing? We were talking about first we were talking Banshees, I think.
Oh, Banshees.
Yeah, so
Yeah, they have +1 range, and the cloak comes automatic now, so that's been kind of a trend that I'm not necessarily all about, is like getting rid of upgrades. Like that's when, like since Wings of Liberty came out, we've just been like, get rid of this upgrade, get rid of this upgrade. Oh, this comes with the unit now. It just automatically comes with the unit now, which I think is like kind of not all that fun.
no, I mean there's some that I don't want them to get rid of the upgrade. I think it's part of the fun that you have a slightly, crippled or less powerful unit and you have to work for that.
And it sort of becomes like I think more choices is overall kind of makes the game more interesting. Whereas you have an upgrade like Warp Gate, which is like a non-choice. You just get Warp Gate. It's just something that you get.
Looks a little
like you can time it like, oh yeah, I get Warp Gate at this time instead of this time, but pretty much when your Cybercore is done getting a Warp Gate upgrade.
I always thought that was interesting. People used to talk about that a lot more. Sorry. In early Legacy, in early Wings of Liberty, people talked about Warp Gate a lot more, about how they think it would be cool if like there was a big difference between Warp Gate and Gateway, and not that it was like, oh well, Warp Gate is something that you absolutely have to get at some point. You know, whether that's making warpins take longer or gateway units build a little bit faster, but they can't teleport. You know, I don't know. I think that's interesting.
I think it's interesting that like it was like blew my mind when I found out that warp gate units actually just produce faster than gateway units. Like, blows my mind. You know, it's like you get this cool ability, and your entire all your army production becomes more powerful because
it's weird
faster.
that everything builds at the exact same speed too. Like a High Templar takes as long because of the cooldown as the Zealot.
Right, but the cooldowns are different.
Oh, really? Are they?
Yeah, the cooldowns are different, and the warp-in times are the same.
Wait, you mean the warp-in cooldown is different depending on the unit?
No, so warping in a unit is always 5 seconds.
Faster than building it at the gateway.
But the gateway cooldown.
But yeah, the gateway. So like building a zealot takes 42 seconds out of a gateway, but it takes 38 seconds out of a warp gate, something like that. It's like 5 to 10 seconds faster to build units out of a warp gate than it is, depending on the unit.
If you warp in a High Templar versus warping in a Zealot, is the cooldown different on the warp gate?
Yeah.
After the warp.
Yeah, so it gets all like sort of like discombobulated and off pace. But like the time it takes to get from warping in the field to finish warping in the field is always the same. And it's moved up to 8 seconds in the Legacy of the Void mod. So
I don't know what Kevin's doing. He's got 2 Hercs. Or not Hercs,
He's got 2 Cyclones, man. He's going to take on the whole army with 2 Cyclones.
Right?
With Cyclone OP.
He's got some Hercs mixed in here. He was telling me beforehand he was just writing up some crazy builds to go in here.
Yeah, man. Hercs are ridiculous. They do so much damage. It's really crazy.
No, the Cyclones could have taken out that Viking pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there it is. Come on, grapple.
The Hercs coming in.
Oh, how are they against tanks?
Siege. Well, anything that's melee is pretty good against a tank, generally speaking.
Oh, definitely in siege mode. But I mean, is it like a quick death?
They do a lot of damage, and I think that's a big part of like why people shouldn't take this mod so seriously, is because Blizzard intentionally buffs the damage of all the new units, so people are rewarded by building them. So it's like the Herc does 30 damage a shot and gets +3 for upgrade, so it's like ridiculous. They snipe hatcheries, you know? Like, they're ridiculous.
I thought the Reaper Herc combination at the BlizzCon thing was insane. Like, my mind, I lost it.
You know what's nuts, man? Fungal Ravager. Fungal Ravager is wild to watch.
Fungal Ravager.
Because the Ravager is the closest file, and the disadvantage of the Ravager is like you have to land a shot, and it's hard to land because it takes a while, and there's the dodging, counterplay and stuff. And if you land a Fungal, it's like over.
I got a vibe from Blizzard that they want us to use the Swarm Host more.
When they made it 200 gas, I got the vibe that they never wanted us to build it again.
Oh my god.
No, I think that it's really cool that they're branching out and making a lot of risky decisions.
All right, did you?
And that's one of them. Did you see that Herc?
Yeah.
Wipe out those Marines.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I missed the Herc wipe out the Marines, but did you see Kevin take that fight in the middle?
Yeah, man. Quite good.
That was pretty awesome. Steven, did you catch up to that yet?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's like a 30-second delay, I think.
I think this is a really good example of like Cost is not really that experienced, so he's just sort of doing a semi-normal thing, whereas QXC is mixing in a lot of new units and doing a lot of different stuff. And that's the thing that you see a lot. You see like people do the tank drop because like, okay, everything I know is the same except for I can drop tanks and reposition them, so that's cool, you know?
Hey, what's the follow command now with GameHeart?
Oh, I don't know, man. Hit up Ryan.
Control-Shift-F. I don't know how I figured that out, but that's what it is.
If you bring up the, I think if you push F10 and bring up like the menu or something, I think you can see all the different commands. Maybe? Is it?
What is it?
There's a way, like either F10 and like in that menu somewhere, or like if you push the player thing at the top right, there's some way to see all the commands in GameHeart, I'm not sure.
I'll figure it out. Either way, alright, so with that, one command center goes down, another comes up, but it doesn't really matter because he has 4 active command centers. Kevin QXC has 4 as well.
Oh, it might be under the message log, maybe. Or under the achievements? I don't remember. You had the menu up. It's one of those menus, but okay, sorry.
I'll figure it out. But I think I got the follow down. That's the big one. So those tanks again. So that's what QXC did use. He did use the Hercs the last time to kind of bust his way through and get the tanks.
For sure. And they soak up a lot of damage.
Yep.
And they're light, so that's always nice. Especially against tanks.
Good, disrupting some mining from there. And he's going back in for it. Jumping forward.
Oh yeah, that's really brutal. Hercs are good, they're not that good.
No.
Not going to walk into a siege tank line like that and be able to engage.
I thought QXC had him after that fight in the middle, but I guess Cass had a little more army than I thought.
Well, I think he just took a bad fight with the tank siege up. The Hercs ran in to hit the bio, and none of the tanks targeted the Herc, so he didn't get any splash damage. I don't know if that's what he was going for, because otherwise I don't really see a reason to be targeting the bio with the Hercs rather than targeting the tanks.
QXC attacking again in that inside natural, but now he's going to get countered. Yep.
It's going to be a trade. The problem is QXC is getting really, really low on resources. He's going to have to take that base to the left or something like that.
Cass has expanded a lot more than he has.
The infinite reheal.
I think he'd be fine just go ahead and charging this one in.
Yeah, man, he's chilling on top of the production facilities, locking it down. This is a really sort of interesting scenario because he does not have the economy to do very much at all, but...
No. I think he should have sniped the...
might be okay.
He should have sniped the add-ons.
If he could have locked down the production facilities and stopped Cass's production, he might have had a chance, but now I think he's in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
Because he lost his base, his only mining base. Well, he's kind of mining over here, but it's not really too much. His only mining base is in the south area.
Has Cass made any new unit?
No.
No, not at all.
Cass actually said beforehand that he really just looked him over, but hasn't really played with him yet.
Nice.
So maybe he's afraid to? I don't know.
Well, I think that, like I was saying before, like some players are a lot more comfortable with just doing what they normally do and like slowly adding in a couple things and slowly changing things.
Look at those guys.
Yeah, man, this base has been killed like 4 times now, I think.
You guys did a really good job getting the unit down.
Which one?
The Herc?
Yeah, I'll definitely mention that to Soul Filcher. He was the one who was doing the model on that. Soul Filcher is a nut. He does models, he does data triggering, he does pretty much everything.
It's almost more fun just watching him run than the rest of the game. Alright, so look at that. Herc's getting down.
Yep.
And QXC making a little bit of comeback. I wonder how much supply that Cass has in workers.
Sure, there's a tab for that, right?
There is a button for that, but I'm not on the server.
Control.
Cass has
A?
47 workers.
Control A. There we go. Worker supply. Okay, 47, 36. Thank you. Okay, so he's got 131 army supply to QXC's 98, but I feel that QXC's doing a good job of being effective in his trades.
Yeah, man, he's holding on somehow. He's doing a lot of drops and stuff like that, so it's keeping him alive. It sort of makes sense that Cass is the more tank-heavy player. And he's getting, oh, wow, QXC is getting like the Doom drop going on with all these siege tanks. He's got 4 siege tanks.
I'm excited to see this play in Zerg. Steve, do you have any worries really about the sieged drops?
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't think it's a terrible idea.
No, don't lose your medevacs. So how about them waffles, right?
Waffles? What?
This reference to what I said earlier.
Wow.
Drop your siege tanks.
Oh, man, that was a really nice
Yep,
fight.
good
He
game.
finishes it off.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, he got stuck in a position where he was just, he tried to go for that trade where he did that big drop and the main Cass came out, took his main outside base, and you can't really do that anymore. You can't just really like hang out and trade bases in the way that he did, because he didn't really have a backup, so his economy was like completely shut down for a long period of time, and you could just see that just keep compounding in the supplies.
Yep. Steven, you wanna try coming back in?
Yeah, I'm in the channel again.
Okay.
That's one of the Cass said in chat, like game going so fast. That's one of the other like big bits of feedback that people say on a regular basis. Holy crap, the game's so fast, it gets going right away. And I think that's what Blizzard is going for, so that they're successful at least in that. And it's kind of exciting and fun.
Yeah. Your invite came, Steven.
Yep, I'm entering lobby.
Heck. For those of you just tuning in, this is the late game. We're going through a little Legacy of the Void show match action with QXC and Cass. $100 total on the line, 75-25, winner loser. And that is Cass with game 1. Going now into Overgrowth. Saw QXC play this one in the Husky show match. Did you guys get to watch this one?
I did actually.
That was a lot of fun.
This is one of the things, and one of the things that Husky brought up that I think is going to change things a bit. The last game was a 4-player map, a 4-spawn map, right? And there's a lot of different bases you can take, and that makes sense for this kind of economy where you have to keep expanding.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a map like this, and you're really limited pretty quickly on the number of bases that you can take, it makes it so like everyone is on a timer super fast. And like in normal games where you would have time to be like, okay, I can make a comeback here, or I can keep fighting this out. If the game goes longer, I'll be all right. That's not going to happen on this map. Like both these players have a very limited amount of time to make what they need to happen.
Yep. And we're getting some cheese coming down from QXC. He says, screw it. And which is I'm kind of excited to see because we get that fast economy. He's going for gas too.
Well, that's the thing, because like the proxy gate, you have to have the pilot location, so it makes no sense to proxy gate anymore. You send it across, you have way too much money. But the proxy racks, because you have to build the supply depot, and you might as well be building it at home. The timings end up working out, so you can just proxy racks right on time if you send the first worker out, and it's just as strong basically as the 2 racks used to be. The 2 gate used to be. It's that same kind of feel.
Right. Steven, what do you think? Do you think he's going for a Marauder?
No, isn't this normally Proxy Reaper, or?
I think he's going to build a Herc because he's getting a tech lab.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Right.
Hercs are ridiculous, and they get splash damage pretty quick. So I'm going to guess Proxy Herc. Maybe with Reaper to get him in there, but that's kind of, on this base, it's not really going to help you any. Just run in there with Hercs and deal some serious damage. And Cass went for barracks,
Early CC.
refining, and then into the command center. So this is going to be a
Build order
pretty
win for
strong opening.
QXC.
You know, some people say build order win, some people say strong opening. However you want to say it.
Well, I think QXC auto wins with this, doesn't he? With this opener?
I haven't seen it before, but I'm going to guess it's going to be very ridiculously hard to hold. I mean, he's building Marines. If he has them spread out, he might do okay.
There it is.
Down, but he sees it really late.
Oh,
The
go,
bunker's
Herc, go.
so not going to get up there at all. He needs
Nope.
more defensive bunker location. If he clumps up like that and takes too many hits from this Herc, oh yeah, he's only taking enough damage for one at a time. That's pretty solid micro. That's really the big deal with is avoiding the. Oh, he didn't get the arc gun yet, so there's no splash.
No, he's gonna lose it.
He's gonna be able to be okay for now.
I feel like Reaper would have just been better here. Proxy Reaper, I feel, would have been way stronger.
Now, can the Herc be Can the Herc be healed?
Herc is not melee ranged. The Herc is 1 range, so it can hit from a little bit further away, but not 100%. Yeah, I totally agree. I think opening with a Reaper might have been a little bit better. Maybe going to Hercs later or not, but it's interesting to see how it's going to work out. I think there has to be a lot more exploration done on how to make some Terran cheese work.
All right, so that was QXC is expanding. He doesn't really have anything at home to defend against this Hellion.
Oh yeah, he's definitely in a bad spot. I mean, he's already starting to mine out his main, and his command center is paused building. So this is the, this is the issue. You get punished super hard for doing cheese like this if it doesn't work out.
Now he's gonna.
Because you can't just chill on one base like you used to be able to.
It's not working.
Nope.
In terms of the unit design, does the Herc have a cooldown after the jump for when it can hit again, or is it able to hit instantaneously? Do you know?
Yeah, it has a cooldown. It's 7 seconds. It's very short cooldown.
No, I mean like after you grab something and you jump to it in the Blizzard game, were you in like Blizzard's actual Legacy of the Void build? Were you not able to attack instantaneously right after you landed? Was there a little bit of a pause? Like you see it here when they grab the Hellion
they get the first shot off. Yeah.
Well, no, the Hellion, they never get a shot off on the Hellion. The Hellion always just runs away.
Oh, really? I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm pretty sure that you get like it's kind of like charging zealots, where you get guaranteed like at least one shot off.
Yeah, the Herc. It didn't look like the Herc was getting it, unless I saw it wrong.
No, it's probably because like it was a Hellion, and Hellions are fast. We probably haven't like ran into that too much as far as like testing goes. But I will go test it after this to make sure that's right.
I had health bars up, didn't I? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Oh,
nice
snap.
on QXC. Doesn't get the turret finished, but
Oh.
let's see. He's not trying to go. There he goes. We will be able to finish that turret and zone out the benches. Should be for the rest of this.
Target. I don't think he's... There he goes.
So far, he's still good. He's on attack. He's got 200 minerals left before he really is going to need to make some serious transition going on. Because once you start losing mineral patches, that's when you're in trouble. Right now, he's still on that solid one base economy, and he's fine.
Yeah, I'm just looking at for chat. If you guys see anything that you have a question about, you can go ahead to the Reddit thread. I'll post it. Go to the Reddit thread and leave your questions, and I'll go through the questions at the end. I'll look at new. Show your questions, and we'll ask the players at the end what they were thinking, what they were doing, why they did what they did. So QXC coming back with the harass, and I think that's what I'm liking about the economy, is how fast you're not completely dead in the water. You still have the ability to switch to some form of harass and possibly get your edge back in the game.
As the cheeser?
Yeah.
I would say I think the cheeser gets fucked actually way harder in this than in. I think it's the opposite. Maybe.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that you are at more of a disadvantage if you try to cheese like this than you would.
Because if you cheese and you fail, now your transition has to account for the fact that your main base and even the natural, like the 2-base all-in you might be doing, you're going to run out of resources way quicker than before. So you're not going to be able to carry on that 2-base aggression for as long as you used to be able to. Or when you go to take that third, you're going to find yourself only mining 1 or 2 bases for a lot longer when you used to be able to mine 3 for much longer, you know?
That's why I bring you guys on, to tell me how I should think.
Listen, these are the opinions that you should have. First of all, this is the way you're going to vote and or not vote. Second of all, this is how you feel about all the hot topics.
Wow.
So where do we stand right now? Now that I know Control A, we have 44 workers to 39. He's not that far behind as far as that goes. In army supply, he's 4 army supply by. QXC's 4 ahead. QXC's ahead in workers too, for screwing up that cheese. I'm sorry, I was reading that wrong. So I think he's done a good job. As far as units killed,
recovery, yeah.
Yeah, QXC's ahead in this game. 33 units killed to 10, 6 to 5 workers.
Yeah, I think he defended against the counterattack after his cheese failed pretty well.
Yep. Now, is he going to scout this? I did really bad with the vision, but yep, I think he did not scout it.
He should be able to know when he sees units rallying across the map like this, though. It's not going to take him to see the whole army to know what's up.
No, he's sending a Marine out to that thing. He's gonna see it. There we go.
Oh yeah, he's got the full scout.
Pass right over, and he's gonna lose these Banshees.
Yeah.
Oh, get out of there, brother.
The speed upgrade comes only after the fusion core, so it's a pretty late game type of thing.
Yeah, but it's nice.
Speed normally. Yeah, they're ridiculous. 3.75 is so fast.
Fuck you, Oracles. We got Banshees. Was it? Isn't Oracle like 4.1?
Oracle is 4. Oracle used to be 3.7, and then they gave it a speed buff because it wasn't fast enough, apparently.
All right. Why aren't those Vikings shooting? He had the scan down, didn't he? Or was that QXC scan?
It's QXC scan.
I love the colored scans. It's so nice.
I think you've got team colored health bars on. It's driving a lot of people crazy liking.
Yep.
People don't like that? All right.
No, man, it's it makes you look like a noob.
All right.
Okay.
So how do you change that? Options.
Gameplay.
Options, gameplay. And if you want to be a real pro, set it to damaged. Just saying.
Damage, damage, damage. Show unit life bars, damage. There we go. Look at that. Pro fucking observer. Today I learned.
Wow.
I need a beer.
Yep, so this game is sort of working out to be like they're both sticking on 2-base economy. They're not really expanding as quickly to keep the 3-base economy going, so it's going to like stay this low economy 2-base versus 2-base thing.
No, and I like that. I like the small army attacks and
Except for
engagements.
Cass, who's double expanding. Makes me eat my hat. Actually, that's something that someone brought up to me. Like, does the fact that you can mine out bases and with mules and stuff make Terran like a lot stronger? Because they can just mine out their bases with mules, lift off, move on to the other base without having to take a new base or whatever. It's sort of an interesting idea to make like more use of the nomadic liftoff land of the Terran.
How about speaking of nomadic liftoff? How about that? What was it? 4GG win against? I can't remember the game. No, it was the TVP, and it was MC versus JaKaTaK. And JaKaTaK lifted off and won and ended up beating MC 3-1, 3-2. It was a pretty awesome game. But yeah, he didn't have enough money for Phoenix. He managed to kill all the Nexus and probes, and it was perfect. So floating for the win. Jack, do you get
normally you can fit 2 siege tanks in a medevac, or is it just 1?
You can fit
normally
2
you can fit
normally,
2.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, but when they're in siege mode, it's just 1.
Yep.
Gotcha.
All right, so they're both on 4, but QXC doesn't have that 4th base mining.
Yeah, he's finishing off the transfer right now, but he doesn't have a whole lot of SCVs there.
Yep.
It's 53 to 43. Actually, geez, QXC has a lot of SCVs. They're just not spread out correctly right now.
No. He's got some idle ones too.
Yep.
Let's take a look from QXC's point of view.
Upgrade complete. Mineral field depleted.
Now he's got the 4 medevacs with 4 speed siege tanks. No Vikings to be had by Cass in the area, so he'll be able to get away with this pretty easily. As far as like, the position, reposition, etc.
Right.
He gets scanned.
I want to see these drops. Like, I want to see some sweet micro with those drops. I think it's a little late in the game to possibly see anything crazy with that. But
No.
do you,
I think the coolest part about it is he can just like QXC is doing, it just allows him to be as mobile with this force as he would with a bioforce.
That's very
He can
true.
Move it around.
Yeah,
at
one of the,
same speed he used to.
Yeah, that's definitely true. One of the scary things I think in TVT, I don't play TVT, but in watching it, is that when you go to do those sieges or the unsieges, you can get fucked. Like that seems to be like when the action happens, like right at the start, people are sieging and unsieging. Whereas here, if you can just pick them up and leave, like you don't have that moment of vulnerability where it's like, oh, okay, my tanks are sieging and I can't do anything, and the enemy's moving into attack. Now it's just like, okay, well I eject them from my medevac and they're auto sieged already, and it's time to fight.
right.
Yeah. In addition, like you can retain your siege tank count, which is super huge. I feel.
Yeah.
Because they take forever to build, and keeping that production up is difficult, especially when you're not going full mech and you don't have that many factories. Like he has 2 factories making siege tanks right now, and that's it. That's his whole production. So if he loses all of his siege tanks, and he has 12 right now, like he's screwed.
took QXC up quite a bit.
It's a nice position around the non-landable area, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And this is kind of interesting too, like drops in the main. It's like very quickly become never about economy at all. It's like, oh, okay, well, dropping in the main, crap, you're not gonna take out any of my gas income or mineral income.
Are the gases reduced as well?
Yeah, by about the same percentage. It's about a third.
Gotcha.
It actually works out so that there's a higher gas to mineral ratio, but it's pretty much negligible.
Yeah, sure.
Pick up that tank.
He's thinking about it.
Pick it up. No.
Big battle going on over here. QXC prioritizing the more important area of focus.
Oh, he's definitely got the tank lead here. Oh, I like this. Pick him up, pick him up.
Wow. Nice.
I think Cass is fuckaroo.
Yes, I believe you're right. The technical term is fuckaroo. He's going to GG, recognizing that.
Awesome.
It's interesting, a lot lower workers created count. I wonder if like that was a result of the cheese that they ended up staying on like 2 mining base economy for most of the game.
Sorry, I was adjusting this. You know what I think would be really cool is that early 2 tank build that we were seeing with the Raven, but instead of wasting minerals and gas on the Raven and all that, going just straight for the quick 2 tanks and a medevac and doing it like an immortal drop, sieging up the tanks, getting 2 medevacs. I don't know how quickly that could be done. I'm not doing the math in my mind, but I feel that could be pretty fun to watch. Attack them.
Yeah. It would be really, really cool if you get that to work. I don't know if you get to work in TBT, just because like the tech would be, there's almost always a Viking out, but maybe in some other matchups it would be pretty cool. Because Immortals are pretty garbage at killing workers, and people still make it work in PvP. So tanks are ridiculous at killing workers, if you imagine. Now I think this is going to be a much, much nicer map for Legacy of the Void type thing, because there's a lot more bases to take. I'm just still waiting, man. I haven't seen a single game with the broken battlecruiser yet.
I mean, battlecruisers, I don't know. I don't think that's going to affect things too much. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to warp one battlecruiser into your opponent's main and, like, kill shit? Like,
Well, actually, for me, I think it's more useful to retain battlecruisers. You could just attack move across the map with the battlecruisers and never lose a single one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, listen. No, I mean, I agree, but listen to what you just said. Like, how often are battlecruisers a major component of your army that you're attacking an opponent with? Like, that's the,
Yeah. Well, Destiny, I was really just mostly thinking about free-for-alls. Of course, the most important
as you're killing one
place to
person
get
and
balance.
the guy that's secretly working with him comes in to kill you, you can bring your battlecruisers back to your base to defend.
Now that's the kind of talk that I'm trying to get going here, all right? Let's get rid of this 1 versus 1 stuff. Let's get to the serious, important stuff. How do you know about balance with StarCraft? Just check the free-for-alls. That's how you know.
Alright, on the bottom right we've got Legacy of the Void against the top right, Heart of the Swarm.
Sorry about that. I figured you guys were having a good conversation. I could step away for a second.
Oh man, no apologies necessary, man.
That was an excellent introduction, though. I'm totally satisfied. I feel I need to do nothing.
Thanks.
Do you guys like beer?
No.
No?
Oh, goodness, it's the only beer I'll drink. It tastes so good.
So, Jack, you don't like beer?
No, I'm not a huge fan.
All right, so there's 2 things I want to bring up then. First is that it's a Cyanide and Happiness cartoon where they say if you don't like beer, well, it's an acquired taste, man. You got to try it. So it's Stockholm Syndrome. And I thought it was pretty funny because it's kind of true. I didn't like beer until I forced myself to drink it a few times. Now I love it. But second point I want to bring up is if you ever do decide you like beer, or if anyone in chat likes beer, Line and Kugels has a cranberry ginger shandy, and it is absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Shandy's kind of like a really sweet beer, but it doesn't.
sounds very fancy, man. It sounds definitely like out of my league at all. Like,
It is. It's like so like a shandy would be you take beer and lemonade and there's some other crap you can mix into it, and it's just a little I don't know.
I feel like this is the kind of thing that if I were to walk into a bar and order it, I would get beaten up if I was ordering it. Is this true or?
You cis male piece of shit.
Oh.
wow, very aggressive. This is how we bring out the aggression. We like him. Just talk bad about his alcoholic preferences, and the aggression. will come.
Alcohol. You add the ick, it becomes a negative.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh,
so
alcohol preferences. I'm terribly sorry.
we have.
Wait, how would you describe the beverage you're drinking? What is it? What properties is it?
It's just touche.
Adjectives.
Well played, sir.
Grammar.
Me.
Oh, so I just saw a comment. Someone like Americans talking about beer. I feel we have some European beer elitists in the chat.
Oh, you don't ever want to talk about beer on the internet because some people, I don't know shit about beer. I actually don't drink at all, but some people get really fucking mad about beer. How do you drink fucking Sam Adams and Budweiser? Those are shit. Like, I have, like, down in my fucking forest in Germany, I've got, like, this guy that uses his own micro shit and he fucking smashes the fucking nuts together with his own dick and it's, like, the best shit I've ever. Like, people get so fucking stupid when you can't talk about beer on the internet. Beer snobs are arguably probably some of the worst people that I think are like fans of like anything. I can't think of anybody that's like much worse than beer snobs. Like even more so than like hipster music snobs. I think beer snobs are worse.
Wow.
What about hipster beer snobs?
Great.
Wow.
All right, so we had Cass go for a much faster expansion than QXC. QXC just started his. It's not even halfway done. What did he go for, though? If we look at the units tab, we have on QXC a Banshee and a... man, I'm terrible with these names. The Cyclone.
Now, the thing that I want to bring up that's really, really, really stupidly important here is that the Raven has been ridiculously nerfed into obscurity, basically.
Thank
because
God.
The defense drone is now only lasting for 20 seconds, and that is just a
Thank
travesty.
God. Did they nerf the Seeker missile yet?
No, not yet.
Oh. Well, then it's still really fucking good. Fuck you.
So what's important to you?
I agree.
Is the Seeker missile the most important?
Everything about the Raven is fucking stupid. Auto turrets, when you put them down, they last for about 17 fucking ladder seasons. The point defense drone blocks damage from like every fucking unit in the game, and it absorbs like over 4,000 orbital commands worth of damage. The Seeker missile like stacks splash damage. It's like fucking nukes flying all over the map. Everything about the Raven is stupid fucking strong. The Raven is pretty much the Infestor from 2012, but a lot of Terrans just don't mass them.
Couldn't agree
In my
more.
opinion, they're playing against some people that mass that shit late game. It's like literally fucking unbeatable.
I've never gotten to a game that I massed Ravens. I think in times
Yeah,
of
most Terrans
desperation,
don't.
but in times of desperation, I thought, well, I can save myself. I'll just do what everyone else does and mass Ravens. But it's really quite difficult to get to that amount of. It's such a high cost unit.
Oh yeah, sure. You have to play a style that gets you there, like a Villo mech or like super ultra turtle mech, you know, shit like that.
Yeah. What I assume you need 3 quick, fast bases and a lot of like siege tanks and Thors before you can go into it, or turrets.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, lots of turrets, lots of tanks, or defensive planetaries at the front of your base, shit like that.
What would you do with the Raven to make it more interesting and less crazy?
Auto turrets need to last like way less. Like they need to cut that time like into like 1/4 of what it is now. I don't know why auto turrets last for like 5 minutes.
So would you take more hits in trade for time, or do you think both should be
No,
nerfed?
it doesn't need more. It just needs a nerf. I'm not talking about like a rebalance. I'm just taking a straight out fucking nerf. Auto turrets like way too fucking long. They last an insane amount of time. Seeker missiles do so much damage. I don't know how you would even begin to nerf that. Either less damage or less like radius on the damage, or maybe a maximum damage you can do to affect the units. I don't know.
So Cass is going mech, and I don't. So he's floated this barracks to kind of get a little bit of map vision on the corner. I'm kind of excited.
Look at incoming drops. That's cute.
What's that?
Probably to scout for incoming drops. That lifted barracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
Absolutely.
I hope he uses some of the units. I want to see him use something a little more than the siege tanks.
Cass?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't at all for the past few games, so I don't
No.
anticipate him doing it now.
QXC, what does he have? I'm still in the units tab. Sorry, guys. He really doesn't have anything more than the Cyclone. And we got Hellbats now.
No, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Cyclone being built.
New units.
Cass. This shit is real. It's actually Legacy of the Void mod. Because Cass was building a Cyclone.
A Cyclone.
Do you think he actually meant to build it, or do you think that was a misclick?
Ooh, no, he's got a second Cyclone coming in. He's
Two of
going mass Cyclone.
Going hard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alright, that's done. Oh, wow. Alright, so nowadays that would not have survived. I don't think.
Sick Raven harass.
Does he have the speed upgrade? I can't tell.
He'd have to have a fusion. You mean on the Banshee?
Yeah.
He'd have to have a fusion core.
Does he have fusion core?
No.
No fusion core. Alright, and then it seemed like it moved pretty fast.
Yeah, man, you should see him when they get the speed upgrade. It's stupid. Stupid in a good way, I think. It's really fun. Everything got speed buffs, man, for Legacy of the Void. Like, everything's fast. The Lurker's super fast, the Ravager's super fast.
I think that's what they're trying to promote with the gameplay the way it is. He's gonna lose this. No, all right. Is the faster units, the quicker economy is. We saw a lot of small unit engagements at. Oh wow, tank drop! There it is.
Oh. Taken out by the Cyclone.
Just in time to lose that. We saw a lot of small unit engagements at BlizzCon, and I know we had 2 Koreans playing, so one could focus entirely on the micro of the units while the other focused on the macro back home. But regardless, I mean, eventually people are going to learn to play that way if that's the way the route the game goes.
Yeah. Also, I think it's really funny that like people have taken seriously, like as seriously as they did, like the show matches that happened. Is sort of like, who knows how much time they had to practice? I'm pretty sure it wasn't all that much time. And they like did the show matches, and you could tell, like especially in the first show match, where it was the TVZ where the Cyclones got used, and everyone's like, "Oh, Cyclones are all broken. This is crazy." And like, it's like they built tons of drones and didn't build any speedlings, and it's like that shows that the Cyclone is broken or ridiculous, and like people sit around theory crafting saying, "Oh, such and such is gonna be broken," or "Such and such is like, oh, it's too strong. It needs to nerf already," and it's like so insane, like the lack of realization that it takes time for the game to be developed, and it's going to take time for people to figure out how to play it correctly.
Yep, and I think if I'm honest with myself, I was a little worried that Blizzard would hear what they were going to say and get rid of the Herc or the Cyclone too early.
You don't have to worry about that, man. They're bulletproof.
Oh, Cass going with the sneaky expansion. Something I've always wondered is why pro players, even in GSL games, when you see the sneaky expansion work, why pro players don't just ingrain it in themselves to send a worker around or a marine or something.
Well, I think ideally it's just sort of at a certain point, especially in Brood Wars, players would just develop a sense of how much units could come out of a certain economy, and if they knew like, okay, this is too much units coming out of the economy that I have scouted, there is a base somewhere, and then go scout.
Well,
Right.
That's not just Brood Wars. That's StarCraft 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice pickup.
But I feel like in Brood Wars a lot more fun than it is in StarCraft 2. Like people get away with it, get away with those sneaky expansions more in StarCraft 2 than they could in Brood War.
I think if I go against a Protoss and I see that the Protoss is going Void Rays and I only see him on one base, I know there's a hidden base.
It's good logic.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I have any sense for. And again, I'm no one to talk about their own skill. That's the only one that I can pick up on.
That poor little
little
that
Banshee.
was like the super overkill Banshee, like 4 Thors just unleashed on it.
How many tanks we got, Gear?
How do you guys feel
6.
about this like Thor repair mechanic? Do you think it's interesting? Do you think it's fun?
Oh, the Thor, what does it do? It's just a cooldown thing, right? It's not even energy. You just sit there and then it just repairs itself?
Yeah, like it goes immobile and repairs.
Can it still attack?
No.
Oh. I don't know. Fuck that. Paramedic doesn't need any more buffs. I don't know, it's hard to say how it'll play out once all the units are in and you see how the balance and whatnot. I mean, it might be good, it might be bad, but that's a big balance question. Did the Thor's ground auto attack range become significantly farther?
I think
no.
it's always been 7.
Oh. Damn, those birds were auto-attacking the sea chains from quite a distance.
Wait a minute.
What?
You're freaking me out. I have to go check it.
I
it always
could
been
just
so?
be wrong.
Yeah, I want to go check now. I want to make sure. Because that is... Yeah, the siege tank had a 7. I know that one. But yeah, bow range, 7. It's pretty, that is pretty high.
QXC. Oh, we got a drop coming in the back. Look at that, abusing that.
Yeah, nice little position there.
No upgrades from QXC has 1-1 on his bio. Cass has no upgrades on his mech.
Oh wow. I thought he built an army. Oh, I think the army got taken out in one of those drops.
You know what? Yep, it did. Used to be right by this command center.
He just hasn't rebuilt it.
And the
Oh,
Viking.
no, he has rebuilt it. He's getting 1 attack on mech right now.
I think that's good engagement for QXC.
Yeah, it's a really nice art. Mitigates a lot of the splash damage. Fighting on siege against marauders doesn't work out well for the
No.
tanks.
Good game.
GG.
Wow.
Oh man.
Man, we gotta ask Cass how it was playing Heart of the Storm against Legacy of the Void.
Oh, that burn.
Oh man.
So
Yeah, boys are range planetary vortexes? What the fuck? When are we throwing
Kevin. And then gotta bring Cass back in. All right, Cass, you there?
Yep.
Hey, good game, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Okay.
coming. So let's talk shop for a second. Kevin.
It was really fun. Like, even the game that I lost, I just felt like there's so much going on the entire time that sometimes in StarCraft right now, I feel like you'll get a big disadvantage, but it'll take like 10, 15 minutes before you actually lose the game. And you're not really doing a whole lot. Because it's like waiting for a base to mine out, or you're being contained, or something like that. But in this, well, basically, as soon as I got behind on Nimbus, like, the game was over pretty quickly after that. And we're just always doing stuff. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing.
All right. Cass, what was your overall thought on just the play of the game?
I think I need to disagree a bit. I think it is a bit easier to come back because the base actually is like 4 and 5th base in macro game is very important. If you deny that one base with one drop, it is like you turn game because you mine out any other bases. So it will be really important to trade well in games. So I don't know.
So I want to clarify what I said. I meant more like, it's not that it's super hard to come back. It's just when you get behind, it doesn't feel boring. Sometimes I feel like I get behind and there's not a lot I
You're
can
just waiting
do.
to lose for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But in this, it felt like since there was so little money, I could still
Much
come
more
back.
much more actions. Just like every game, we just go in and fight.
Yeah.
That was fun. But I know, I feel it is will be a lot of abusive strategy because on small maps, if you don't have many bases, people like Goody will stay forever, and you can't just go and trade and like over macro them because 1-2 bad trades and game is over. So you need to stay and turtle as well. People think this will be a more aggressive and dominate game, but it is depend of player and depend of style. I think people like Avil or Goody, it will be a bit even worse in next add-on. But I say
Wait, you think I think it's exactly the opposite, no? Because
think
people like
having-
Avillo and Goody seem to like their styles make it so that they can actually afford to like take that like third and fourth like so much later because they're just being ultra turtly. But here it seems like they're more likely to run out of resources on 2 bases or 3 bases much quicker than they were before, no?
Maybe I think a bit too good about them. I mean, like, if good player one at a turtle, it is like no way you can stop him by turtling. Still, 10 turrets will be on the main base and he will be sitting and waiting. I don't know. And it is like, what I wanted to say, it is trades will be much, much more important in this maps because mine will be mined so much quicker.
Yeah, there's way less money on the map.
Like if you've seen on Overgrow, it is like we was trading all the time, but if a game will be more passive, because which time game will be more passive because you will learn strategy, you will learn position and stuff like that, and like till you get 200 supply, you will mine almost your main natural and third base. So it is like will be a bit crazy, I think. And you can't be so aggressive. Yes, you can make some doom drops or stuff like that, but it will be much more important moves to do. Like you just can't fall with one attack, and then think you can turn game back with some small decisions. I know. I kind of like it, but I still think it will be. Well, we need to see the game, right? What we can say right now. It is only some few changes what we've seen.
Yeah, like the Blizzard version of Legacy is already a lot different from the BlizzCon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely.
We don't know, like some of the units will be different, things like that. I think maybe the economies are kind of the same.
Oh yeah, well,
How do you know that? Do you know what the internal build looks like right now?
No.
Well,
I don't think
the thing
any
is,
of us
like,
know that.
They I was talking to Aaron Kirkpatrick, and he's at
Oh, I hate
BlizzCon,
that guy. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what it is.
and he was super nice and awesome. No, he was though, and he said that like just 2 weeks before BlizzCon, they had it at 10 workers and not 12. So I don't think that the economy is anything that at BlizzCon they were like, oh yeah, 12 is the perfect number of workers, or
Okay.
this is the way that we're going to solve the problem of that early section of the game being kind of stale. I think like the main thing that I got out of our discussions anyway was just they're trying to get rid of that section of the game that's boring in the beginning for the viewer, and they're going to like push around and see different ways that they can do that. And like the first way that they try that, or like the way that they tried that, they were on while BlizzCon was happening, was the more workers scenario. But I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that they completely revert on the many workers or drop it back and do something else to sort of like facilitate faster gameplay and less downtime in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the actual game. I'm going to jump ahead to game 2. QXC, I want to know what you were thinking with that with the cheese and what you were going for.
I mean, I just, you can proxy a Marauder, so I was like, well, why couldn't you proxy a Herc? But
Now we
It
know
didn't-
why.
it didn't work at all. Man. Oh my god, it was so bad. I was doing it.
It was
and
rough,
I-
man.
Yeah. I felt like I had committed so much. I was on 2 gas, like proxy barracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after I defined that so well, I feel like game was over. I didn't even try to play well. That's the part. And then in 10 minutes I lose a game. It's like I
think
turn. Yeah, I make like too many barracks. Like I put immediately 4 barracks. Okay, let's go finish this game.
Yeah.
But looks like if you start with so many workers, it is like full mining base. The second base don't give you so big boost in economy, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to immediately go into third base or just make so really good build. Because if you don't make a third base, it is like your second base is pretty much not so good like in HOTS.
I think if you had gotten a splash damage upgrade for the Herc,
It takes
would've made a
2
pretty big
minutes, though. It
2
takes 2
minutes?
Yeah.
Does it really? Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay,
There's
never
no
mind.
way I was gonna get
That's
that.
no wonder it's like it takes so long because that would be so. I was just thinking about the hurt coming in and having splash damage against all those SCVs with one range. It's like it would be over.
Yeah, no. I think the biggest thing that I learned about the units in those games is the Cyclone is the new answer to the Banshee.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the Banshee just kills. It's so good against like everything.
It's really fast, and you can out micro a lot of units. I feel versus Zerg this will be so crazy good, because every unit is ranged, and before Hydra you will have a freedom. You can go with Hellions and Cyclones.
Does the Banshee now in Legacy of the Void, is it going where it stands now? Is it outranging a Spore Crawler?
No.
No.
Okay.
Spore Crawlers have 7 range and so do they. But the speed cast though is the same. The speed of the Banshee is the same. It only gets a speed upgrade if you get a fusion core.
Yeah. It's got 7 range now.
It's got 7 range, which makes a big difference.
I feel like Bench is so much stronger because immediately have invisible, and you can use Bench a bit earlier, and it is crazy. Like you can start to explode your game build so much quicker.
Wait, Banshee comes with cloak now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's retarded.
That's
so strong.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
really bad. That has
the
to change.
The Banshee is just like infinitely strictly better than it was before.
Yeah, it's
Unless Overlords go back to getting.
Everyone
What if we get
will
Overlords
use
that
Bench right now.
protect left units again, like Emperor War?
I think the Banshee right now is like the best unit for Terran easily because you can now get it off a 1 gas build and have cloak, and the cloak is like 30 seconds faster than it would have been in HOTS.
Just like so many builds was to catch Banshee before he get invisible, because invisible upgrade was so longer time to reach, but now it is impossible. Banshee come from starport immediately have invisible.
Yeah. You just
like just image if you proxy Banshee, which immediately invisible. Like you can deny that. If he started Banshee and you kill Touch Lab, still will be invisible. Banshee come and first one. Like no way to deny.
It's just gonna be like now. It's just gonna be like 2-port Banshee and see who blows the other person's base up first.
No, because the thing is like
Cyclones.
the Banshee is way better at what it does, but the weaknesses that the Banshee has didn't get addressed at all. So like the things that beat Banshees still beat Banshees. So like Viking Raven, like you give Banshees 20 range and Viking Raven still like beats them or whatever. I just think and the other thing is, since your economy is so much stronger when the game starts, like you have a lot more resources by the time the Banshee gets there.
But do you think it is fair to get like 12 probe, 12 drone, and 12 SCV in the game where a mule, a difference, larva, and boost was so big in the Heart of the Swarm?
Yeah,
and
definitely not. That has to be addressed.
You need to balance that. Like mules was good only because it is low number of SCV probes and drones, and now mule will be a bit weaker. Don't you think so?
Well, I think mule's weaker too because you only have 1,000 per patch. So if you are muling on a regular basis, you're gonna mine out your bases.
Yeah,
so fast.
that's like if they don't make some good late game, Terrans will be so much trouble. Like right now, Viper big problem, which make like you have a static defense like Spore Spines, and Vipers will be just abduct battlecruiser and stuff like that into static defense, but it's free. And I feel it will be a big problem if they don't change nothing.
I think with the less money on the map, styles like that don't work as well. Because if you imagine how many thousands of resources the Zerg has to have in excess to make like a ton of Spore Crawlers, a ton of Spine Crawlers, like that money just doesn't really exist. In our games, how often would you say one of us was actually maxed?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a really good point. Not very often at all.
Right? Like that was the impression I got, is like in Nimbus, as soon as we had that first fight and you were ahead on economy, I felt like I lost because I could never get to 200 again. Because there wasn't enough money in the bases that I had and you weren't letting me take more bases.
Well, yeah.
So
Also, there's tanks which Medivacs, I think they will just fix it. No way it can stay longer. Like, what the fuck? How you can deny that marine tank drop if just marine tank, like imagine in Nimbus 5 tank and marines just drop on your natural? How do you kill it?
Because one of the most, this is
No
something we
way.
talked about too, one of the most important parts of the siege tank, like one of the biggest like sources of tension and drama, I think, in a mech game is when you siege and when you unsiege. That's like a really important part, you know? So eliminating that completely with a medevac seems like it might make really weird shit happen. Like, oh fuck, there's a doom drop in my base and it's already
like, pick up all your
completely
siege
sieged.
tanks. Yeah.
Fuck, you know?
I feel like it just, that weakness of the tank to be like really strong in siege and like have to be good position and getting caught in siege is like a main part of like the identity of the siege tank and why it's so like such like a cool, interesting sort of fun unit. And like taking that away, I don't like it at all, you know?
It's really fun to micro though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
dropping your siege tanks. Oh my god, it was so sick.
2012 Infestor Broodlord micro was also a lot of fun too. Fucking die.
You can feed tanks with shots, so they have cooldown. You can pick them. So you just get some links to tanks, so they can pick up them.
So, what did you guys think about like an early game tank drop now with this situation, especially with the sieging capability and the drop?
I don't think it is good. It is can be good only with doom drops. Early, it is useless because you can pick up tanks when it is cooldown shooting. Like you need to wait 3 seconds, and it is a lot of time.
So there's
And you can deny tank shots, so you need just pick immediately after 3-second shot.
so there's a cooldown once it drops.
Yeah,
Can you
definitely.
explain that again?
Is that true?
Yeah.
So he's saying after the tank shots,
Yes,
shoots,
3
there's a cooldown.
seconds. Cooldown,
Pick it
yeah.
up?
So you can pick up tank only when he 3 seconds after no shooting.
Oh,
So-
wow.
After
Okay,
shoot,
yeah. I'm,
Because I can't pick up my tanks on Nimbus game when I was dropping your natural. So I was about to pick up tank, but they was shooting your marine, so I can't do that.
okay, I have the bug. I'm ready.
I think it's a bug.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
I
That's
Jack-
kind of the thing. Like we released this, and it was like because there's only 8 of us testing it, so we didn't like catch so much, and it's like, oh my god, all the bugs. It's like, all right, cool, we'll fix all the bugs, and we fix them, and we come out with like 10,000 more bugs. But yeah, we'll get right on that.
So Jack, whatever triggers or whatever you use, there's
Yeah.
like a little bit delay. I think it has to do with flying units, like you're casting a spell or something, but it
yeah,
doesn't
the
cast until
deceleration.
it doesn't cast until the medevac actually stops moving altogether. So Cass, I think it's just a bug.
Oh
Maybe.
shit! There's a bug involving that. I complained about this on stream a while ago. Every Zerg player, this is the absolute worst part about playing Zerg. The worst thing about Zerg used to be that you couldn't put creep tumors on ramps, but thank God they changed that for Heart of the Swarm. The worst thing about Zerg, QXC, do you off race ever?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to make a fucking make an overseer and then you go back and you found out that it didn't make? Because what happens with overseers is if you go to morph an overseer as the overload is moving, and then as it decelerates to morph, you go to move it again, it will actually start the overseer and then cancel. It happens with corruptors and broodlords too. You have no fucking idea how annoying it is to be. You go, dude. I lost the game the other day where I was like back at my base and I fucking I go to morph like 12 broodlords and then I go back to micro my army in a fight and then I go back to look at the broodlords and they're not there and I see corruptors flying halfway across the map. It's like, God no. That shit happens with corruptors and overseers all the fucking time. It's so annoying. The waiting to decelerate before a spell can cast.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I hope that gets changed for Legacy of the Void.
Just look like Blizzard wanted to make Protoss like full splash damage race. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
It's like every unit they add in for Protoss have splash.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing, they actually realized that the main problem with Protoss, there wasn't enough splash, so in the next patch, they're most definitely going to be having splash upgrades for all the gateway units as well.
I think Protoss at this point is like fucking Flash from Adobe, where it's just like a huge heaping pile of shit, and instead of like actually going back and changing it, they're just gonna keep throwing on more shit until it kind of sort of comes out as this barely coherent race at the end of fucking. Protoss is a pretty shit race. I think everybody agrees with that, right? Do we all agree with that? Warping is a shit mechanic. Warp prisms are stupid. Force field is a horrible gimmick to rely on. They're huge. Well, the way their armies control, like, how many other people get away with having everything on one hotkey for the entire fucking game? Like, I don't know, man. Protoss is, like, not even in terms of, like, overpowered or underpowered. It's just, I feel like Protoss is just the most shittily fucking designed race, like, in the history of any RTS ever.
Any objections to that?
Absolutely, man. Protoss are garbage. 100%.
Garbage.
Oh, my God. Protoss units are so bad, even other Protoss hates them. Find a Protoss that doesn't complain about the Oracle. You'll never find one.
Oh my god, the bug with the Oracle is so frustrating. It's so ridiculous.
Wait, what?
Well, the if you're and it actually works with all air units. If you're moving an air unit that doesn't shoot with a projectile like the Oracle, and it has to do with the way overkill works, then you attack, you like issue an attack move command or you target attack. And it'll only use the correct number of oracles to kill that unit. So say it only needs one oracle. That oracle will stop and shoot, and the rest of them will like glide forward, and it'll be all kinds of messed up. Like you can't control 2 oracles without like some weird like unpredictable. I guess it's kind of predictable, but it's like very inconsistent sort of control going on. It's Lalesh went over it in the Depth of Micro video.
Sure.
But yeah,
I
think
overkill is something. And Terrans would never agree with this, but I think overkill should be brought back for the majority of units in StarCraft 2.
Doesn't it just affect siege tanks? Like what?
Siege tanks, void rays, and
Vikings.
Vikings do overkill though.
Yeah.
Vikings overkill for sure, yeah. So I think it's just siege tanks and siege tanks and void rays are like the 2 biggest culprits.
How do void rays overkill? Their projectile, like they don't even have a projectile.
They don't. No, they don't overkill.
But how would they overkill? Like that doesn't even make sense because their attack damage is done like on ticks. It's like every moment they do a little bit of damage.
I think that if you have, you could go into the unit test and test this. I'm bullshitting a little bit, but I think that if you had 10 units standing right next to each other, okay, and then you were to fly 10 void rays into them, and you were to A-click, I think all 10 enemy units would die instantaneously. No void rays would waste like like you speak about in terms of ticks. 10 void rays will never shoot at something that will die in 1 void ray tick kill. Instead, the damage will spread completely evenly. You know, is what I'm saying.
I understand how it works with siege tanks because there's like a time from the projectile. Like you don't see a projectile for the tanks, but there is like a slight projectile. But I think the window.
Are you sure? I don't think there is a projectile. I think the FPS term would be like hit scan. Like I think the tank there's an animation and it does damage instantly, like similar to like a marine shot.
Maybe. I guess I don't actually know. I don't know. Either way,
I think the idea that you're talking about is correct. It's just the projectile is not the right word. But
keep in mind that the void ray damage, what you just said, it's tick based. It's not like this. It's not like this completely like linear application of damage where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like it would be like 15, 30, 45, like that. Like it works on.
I don't think this is not an issue for me in StarCraft.
Well, fuck you. I play against void ray. You don't see him because you're a Terran player. Fuck you.
Yeah, all of our units counter them. Basically, anything that doesn't do splash damage is countered by Marines.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Terran good
Maybe
race.
that's actually, I posted that earlier, actually. Maybe it's not an overkilling, it's not everything. I hope Zerg gets anti-air, like a good anti-air unit. I haven't seen how the Ravager or whatever plays out, but I hope we get like a anti.
It's hilarious.
It's really cool, but
does it
but
actually kill air units?
Well, the problem is that it kills things that are slow. That's what the Ravagers are really good at killing things that don't move and that are slow.
Oh.
I think you can use it against Void Rays because they clump up and they don't move that quickly. But
maybe
you won't be able to use it against like Oracles or Phoenixes or even the new Tempest.
It takes 3 seconds to land. If you're smart, you can definitely dodge with Void Rays pretty easily.
Yeah, but if you make like
paying
20,
attention,
you just make 20 Ravagers. You can put them on either side. Like, if you get enough Ravagers, there's no micro. You just have to run away. Like you just run away or you run towards them, but you can't actually control because there's too many projectiles.
Well, if you
No
have air
micro?
units, you can just go right on top of them because
It's
they
like-
cause splash damage to themselves.
Cos, imagine this. Like
Yeah.
I give you 6 Marines and I tell you kill this 1 Colossus. You can kind of do that because you can split all the Marines up
Yeah.
and like there's not too much going on. But then if I say here's 20 Marines, kill 3 Colossus, like you can't really do it because there's too many clicks that you have to do. And it's like that with the Ravager. Like in small numbers you can dodge the shots, but when they get too many Ravagers, there's just too many projectiles coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
I think the flying units and melee units do really well though because of it does friendly fire splash damage. So if you get on top of the Ravager and like they try to just ravage you around top, they'll just kill all their own stuff.
Yeah, it also limits what units you can combo the Ravager with.
Mm.
Like you wouldn't want to use Ravager Ling probably because you'd end up killing a lot of your own Lings.
But you used the Ravager and the Infestor, and that was really good.
Yeah, it was also like a stupid amount of gas. I don't know.
So, all right, so looking at, I watched your game. I'm sure a decent amount of people in chat have watched your game. The one that you played against, what was his name? Poke Bunny?
Yeah, Poke Bunny.
Yeah. So that
Poke
game,
Bunny?
I don't know. I thought it was a
Poke
Pokemon.
Bunny. Hi, I'm Poke Bunny. How are you?
All right, so I saw that game, and there was a lot of like stutter step back and forth between what you had to do to get his units in the in that ability. I can't remember the name of it. The lava thing that they throw.
Corrosive Bile, the mortar shot.
Yeah. Okay. So the bile, you had to get up close to do the bile, then you had to move back so your guys didn't move into the bile, and then he had to step back. And there was a lot of that. I mean, did that ever feel like it was getting boring? Because that seemed to
No.
be a lot of the game.
It was really actually very exciting because it was always like, it's always like a. It's kind of like the interaction of like using Marines and Marauders to like poke forward and pull some of the Zealots back.
Okay.
You like move forward and try and catch your opponent not paying attention and like take these shots off, and then you back away. It's just a way to like always grab his attention. It's a way to. What I really liked is it was a way to interact with your opponent without just attacking,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was nice.
Okay.
And it's like ridiculously fun. It's so much like Ravagers are so much fun. Like either playing against my favorite part about the Ravager is like it's fun to play against Ravagers and it's fun to play Ravagers, which I think is not something that's been happening all that much in StarCraft 2 so far. Like except like things like the Baneling versus the Marine where you're both kind of splitting and there's that interaction that's really fun. But that's something that they've said they've been really pushing for, which is super exciting for me.
So what is a good counter to the Ravager then?
Well, that's the thing. The good counter to the Ravager would be micro, and attention would probably be
Yeah.
a great counter to the Ravager.
I think fast units in
Mm.
low numbers are decent, but the Ravager is a pretty good auto attack,
Yeah.
so you can't just dodge its ability and be okay.
Right. Like.
As Terran, I'm not really sure right now. Maybe mech or like mass siege tanks with the medevacs to move your tanks and dodge the projectiles, but like
Oh, that would be fun.
pure bio doesn't work as far as I can tell. There's just so much splash damage from the projectile.
No. Yeah.
I feel like though, if you're stimming, you're going to be too fast. You'll be able to get right up into their face.
Well,
I
you
think
did.
I think the trick with the Ravager is if you've got the bio, you don't back up. You go forward.
Well,
At least from what I've seen, like a lot of the more success with Bio versus Ravager has been like when you move forward and don't just like move backward from the Ravager shots. Because when
Yeah.
you're on top of them, they can't do really much.
Right?
Well,
Yeah,
to
maybe.
move forward. Will be some army, right?
Yeah. Usually it's what I've seen is Ravager, Roach Hydra.
Yeah.
now, do you think the Ravager should just be like a kind of like swarm hosts in that kind of composition, whether it's just a few additional to give that added DPS or to zone out?
No, I think it's totally different from Stormhouse.
Yeah, I think
It's like a sieging mechanism. It's a way to break bases and positions and zone out your opponent. And it's super, super skill based. Like the amount of money you need to have so many Ravagers that you can't micro is like pretty unreasonable. That's like each Ravager is 125 gas. So if you're thinking like 1,500 or 1,700 or like 3,000 gas is like the unmicroable Ravagers where you have like 30 Ravagers and there's just constant stuff. But most of the time it's like 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's all about just like the players putting the projectiles down, dodging the projectiles, stuff like that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think first 2-3 months will be really fun in Legacy of the Void. Because, like QXC said, a lot of units have potential and micro or interplay, and a lot of people will be not just playing like robotic style, like in Heart of the Swarm. So a lot of these units have, I think, a good call to say every unit is really micro-orientary.
Mm-hmm.
In Legacy of the Void than Heart of the Swarm, because in Heart of the Swarm, like it was 2-3 units when you say, I wanna say, okay, you need to micro these units, but in Legacy of the Void, like every unit needs to micro. I think this will be really, really good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Some units just, there's just not a lot of counterplay. Like the battle is mostly decided before it starts.
The composition going in. Yeah.
Right, and that's. There's a ton of skill involved in that, but it's not super fun sometimes. You feel like you lost before it began.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that so much. Like, there are fights where, like, going into it, like, you could have, like, Flash versus fucking Parting, right? And then, like, there could be, like, a fight about to start, and Parting just has the right units. Like, you could resume from replay with, like, a mid-Masters Protoss controlling it, and they'll probably still win the fight, based on the situations. Like, there are some fights, and it's like, it would be cool if there were, like, I don't think in StarCraft 2 there's rarely do you ever have a fight where it looks like it's about to snowball in one direction, but like the awesome control or micro from the other side was like, oh god, like that was the difference. Like that unwinnable fight, he managed to make it work because that fucking awesome. Like that, I don't think that hardly ever happens in StarCraft 2.
I think that's what happened though in that game too, where you try to do that cheese and you put yourself a little behind. You threw away 3 Hercs into that, had your command center delayed.
3 Hercs and all of his economy.
Right? And then on the back of that, you had nothing to defend, and you pulled it back, and then you did those Banshees, and those Banshees did a lot of good for you. And
but that's another thing. Like the only thing that ever happens is like it's not like army versus army fights ever. It has to do with like harassing or things that don't involve like a big army versus army fight.
Right.
What Destiny's saying is like if we were both at 180 supply, we're about to meet in the middle, and then, like, I have, 5 Colossus, my opponent has no Vikings. You could give that army to any Protoss whose masters are above, and they will just crush through, because that's how the game works. And, like, there's, in a lot of situations in StarCraft, you can't overcome unit compositions with skill.
Right.
And I think that's been the language that Legacy of the Void and Heart of the Swarm came out in is sort of, okay, we've got this new unit. This new unit is made to counter the Marine. It's called the Baneling. Like, it was very like, we have designed this unit so that it will kill this other unit. So when you build Banelings, stop building Marines and build something. And it was all very like, unit counter focused. And I think that's a lot of what like the whole StarCraft community's like focus on StarCraft is, because that's the sort of way the game has been developed. It's sort of like, okay, well, what are the counters to the new units? Like, what counters what? So I know what unit to build. But I think that if you look at the language from the most recent BlizzCon, they're much more interested in players being able to differentiate their skill with maybe bad unit compositions in other situations, having micro on both sides, like bad, and things like that. And I think that the Ravagers are a good example of that. I think they're just going to like continue pushing that for the rest of the time. Hopefully, make the Corruptor more interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move into a little bit of talk about IEM and the previous DreamHack winner. So before we go on that, QXC, do you have any last thoughts on Legacy of the Void test we did today?
No, it's just I had a good time. I like testing out the new units and seeing how they interact, and I just can't wait until beta starts.
Definitely excited for that. I think we might do another test run next week. Maybe a little off-race action, depending on who we get to come on. Cass, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I really like this new add-on. Hope to see it soon.
Yeah, Kevin or Steven, anything from you?
Oh, I hate everything having to do with these alpha version things. I've already said it before. But it's interesting seeing it playing out.
Jack, you and your team have worked really hard on this. What did you think about seeing it in action today? And then Husky the other day also put it into good use.
Yeah, it was really cool it's been really cool to see the amount of response that we got. I mean, it's Legacy of the Void mod. It's not really the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a ton of bugs, but people have been really supportive and really digging it and giving a lot of good feedback, and we're fixing all the bugs and stuff like that. It's really cool to like hear QXC's thoughts on it and Steven's thoughts on it and Cass's thoughts on it, and Husky's coming in talking about it and stuff like that, and hopefully we'll get some more people to sort of add in their thoughts, and I'm mostly just really, really excited for Legacy of the Void beta, because the direction that StarCraft is going in right now I think is really nice.
You've been getting a lot of good feedback?
Tons, man, tons. The day that we released, dude, the only thing that I did for the 14 hours after release was answer emails, tweets, and like bug reports, and like talk to the team. That's all I did for the entire day.
Awesome.
Did you get a lot of
You should
people
you should be plugging your Patreon shit more.
Oh, also,
As part of the Legacy
Here
of
we
the
go!
Void thing.
yeah, so, and if you want to support me doing what I do, go to patreon.com/JaKaTaK
There you go, guys. All right.
He does good work.
He does do good work.
Aw, thanks, guys.
All right.
I mean, you do some videos that I don't know about, but I watch all your bronze science ones. Anything that's not bronze science, I just skip over, but I love the bronze science.
All right.
I'm glad that I decided to do that. I had to fight, man. I had to fight to get that Bronze Science series. Like, oh no, it's gonna, like, because the person who sort of like, you know, had the structure of how it works was like, oh, we're gonna confuse the viewers with the blah. I was like, nah, man, this is gonna be good. Just let me do one. And he's like, all right, April Fool's is coming up. Just do one April Fool's. And I was like, all right, whatever. People are gonna love it. Threw it in, worked out. I was like, can I please do more?
Before we
You need to
move,
get a cameo for one of your. You need to get a cameo for your videos from who's the guy that does the workout videos? Oh fuck. Oh god, what are they called? Somebody, I can't live in
Bro Science, man, Bro Science.
Yeah, Bro Science. Yeah.
Dude,
You need to get.
that's what we named the show after.
Yeah. You need to
Okay.
get that guy to do like a fucking cameo for an episode. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be sick, dude. I'll hit him up. We'll see what he does.
all right, everyone, stop talking. No one talk. We're done talking. Done. All right. JaKaTaK, what's that quilt?
This quilt is made up of all the jeans that I've ever worn in my entire life, and my mother made it for me.
That's,
I didn't expect an adorable
Yeah,
feeling
that's right.
answer.
that's very
That's right.
strange.
There's Kevin.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Are you lying?
No, I'm serious. I'm serious, man.
Okay, I believe you.
That's cute. I see some black jeans. What the fuck?
Yeah, man. I was super punk
Are
rock,
those
man.
your
Gotta wear black
Junkos
jeans.
from 7th grade?
Wait, are black jeans like not good? You're not allowed to wear them?
No, I don't
you're not
know.
allowed- it's, at least like before Labor Day, you're not allowed
Like,
to wear those. It's super,
Black jeans
hip and
with
cool to do
with
it.
flames on the bottom and your chain wallet.
Hey, what did you want to talk about today?
DreamHack Winter.
What are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about 4GG's run through DreamHack Winter.
You mean about how good Terran is now?
So maybe, I mean, you know, all right, so this is what, we're going to just breeze through this real quick. 4GG, to win, he beat Stardust,
So many good players.
MC, Patience, and then he goes to the winner's bracket the next day, and he beats Polt 3-0, Life
Why?
3-2, and then he beats Life again 4-2.
Yeah.
What the
pretty sick.
fuck? And he did like everything. Nothing makes sense about. Like he streamed like 300 hours last month. I thought that like pro gamers don't actually do the streaming. Like he streamed he streamed like more. He was like paying user hours of streaming last month. His last accomplishment was like in fucking Brood War or something. It was like literally like 4 years ago.
The
And he just
MSL or
fucking
whatever,
comes
yeah.
out to fucking DreamHack and like annihilate fucking Life in across two different series. What the fuck?
Yep.
Non-fluke games either. Every game that 4GG played, like those were all good games. Like there wasn't any dumb like fucking like patch bullshit like every game he played was really fucking good. The final game that he played against Life, where he threw down those fucking 6 Raxes after opening with the mech. Holy shit, who the fuck does that? Oh my god. he played so well, like out of nowhere this year. Like, it was really weird. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and like he don't play usually that on his stream. Like every build he uses it on tournament games. You usually don't see on his stream, even if you're looking at his stream every
Does
day.
he have time to play? like 300 hours, mate. That's 10 hours a day without weekends off. How much is he playing off stream?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's doing some custom games.
Hey, Destiny, one thing to keep in mind is that 4GG streams a lot of his replays.
Oh yeah, he
Doesn't he rebroadcast? He streams for like some amount of time and then he just runs the stream again as a rebroadcast.
Yeah, free money.
Okay. That makes some more sense.
Sorry, go ahead, guys. Anyway, either way, I mean, so is it an overpowered Terran thing? Because when I'm watching the games, here's the thing. Look, you guys, this is where you come in, correct me, and tell me you're a stupid noob. Shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
You're right initially. Terran is strong.
Well, so Terran is strong. I get that. But when I watched Protoss play earlier in the year, and people were like, oh, Terrans were up to wine when Protoss, but now they're all quiet because Terran is strong. But when you watched a Protoss win, it was Storm, Colossus, win.
Yeah, it's because when Protoss wins, it looks like a retard playing. And it's not their fault.
Let's just talk about Zerg and Terran. Protoss is just so fucking stupid. Like it's
It's
not
just
like
the
everything about
race,
it
man.
is bad. Yeah.
Like I've done a lot of off racing with Protoss, and it feels like you're one of two positions. Either everything works together and you crush, or none of your units do anything at all and you lose. Like because the Protoss units just like they don't do anything
dumb.
on their own.
Yeah,
you have to get like this big group and like force fields protect the Colossus and the Stalkers protect the Colossus and like Storm protects everything and like together it works and it kills things, but then like if they don't have all that shit together, it just fucking doesn't do anything. Like Terran just stims through and everything dies.
Think about it this way: how many back and forth XVP games do you ever see? It like never happens. Whereas if you take TVT, honestly, TVT has been, I think, the best matchup in Tiger 2 for a while. TVTs can go back and forth like a motherfucker, like the entire fucking game. ZVTs, not as much anymore, but still, for the most part, usually tend to go back and forth quite a bit. They're really exciting. Even ZVTs, to some extent, will go back and forth. PV everything is a fucking snowball. They either get fucking stomped, oh man, that Viper timing worked, or oh, you're past 8 minutes and now Terran's just gonna jerk you around until you fucking, suffocate on your own shit, and then it's dead. Or it's, okay, well, that Protoss timing worked really well, now you just shit stomp your opponent and the game is over. Like, PvX games never, ever, ever have any of that back and forth play. Because it's like QXC said, it's like this, like, it's like the most, like, fragilely constructed mountain of shit. And it's either, like, perfect, and, like, the sun hits it just right, and in that one shining moment, it looks like this statue to Montezuma that's, like, the most glorious thing you've ever seen, or it just collapses in on itself, like this disgusting heap of nothing, and then you just lose instantly. I think that was a good explanation of what QXC said. I agree with that.
You really like to put things in very, very briefly and to the point, Steven. That's what I like about you. You really get to the heart of the
It was
matter.
just eloquent, man.
Here's what I think right here. Remove Mothership Core, remove Sentry, and then redesign Protoss from there. Those two things need to go, and then redesign Protoss from there. I think that whatever you wind up with there would be infinitely better. It would force them to address the fact that gateway units are fucking terrible. It would force them to address the fact that Protoss needs more than just like some MOBA heroes in the middle of their army to carry them through every fight, which is essentially what it is, right? What do you have? You've got Colossus on a High Templar, and then you have the things that are around the Colossus and High Templar to keep them from dying. Like,
the hero and the creeps.
I guess.
The hero and the creeps.
Yeah, like it's real. Everything Protoss is just so fucking stupid right now.
I wanna hear Kasa's opinion on Protoss.
On Protoss?
Is he gonna be the voice of reason?
I think it is really, really crazy how snowballing in TVP right now, in Heart of the Swarm. Like, if a good Protoss gets some advantage, it is like, if he coverage everything from drops, like no way you can turn game back. He will be just slowly turtling till the late game where Terran have no chance at all. Like right now you see in tournaments Terrans dominating versus Protoss. It is only because they took so many risks in their builds, and Protoss stopped to make some crazy all-ins because they think they just need turtle till the late where they have advantage, but they can do that versus really good Terrans who
I think,
just not allow make mistakes.
I think what Cass said there is actually really fucking important. Do you ever notice that tournament play seems to be way, way, way more safe than any ladder play? I think that's a big mistake on a lot of programmers' parts. You saw how, like, when SOS started cannon rushing people, every single Protoss and Zerg was like, oh yeah, we do that shit all the time on the ladder. Why doesn't anybody ever do that kind of pressure, though, in tournaments, you know? But then when he starts doing it, all of a sudden it's a thing. Or when you see, you know, MMA drop the occasional 2-racks, like, anytime I see a Zerg versus Terran matchup and the Zerg isn't scouting with his drone at 13, like, I don't know, I think it's a little bit sad that how many corners you can cut in tournament games because people seem to, like, forget everything they've ever learned about the game when they enter a tournament, and now they're only going to play, like, you know, these macro styles, like, ever, you know? I think that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
And I think it is so stupid, like, if you're watching Protoss, like, it is crazy to say, but there is so many safe cheeses, like what you can make as Protoss and still be like fine, like some proxy oracle or proxy rob or stuff like that. And right now when you're watching Protoss play on every tournament, like everyone going robo play standard safe, no actions at all. I think it is just typical Korean style, where they just like to make everything like robo style, like I will do this every fucking game and will took no risk, and if I play in that perfectly without any single mistake 20 minutes I will win the game. And usually they do that, but just opponent took small risk and just wins the game. I know, like when you just see a difference between half of year ago and now, Protoss just stopped use the blink all-ins and stuff like that. Maybe because Korean Terrans just learned how to defend it, but on tournaments it's like they don't use that at all.
I do think to some extent, I think Protoss got ultra fucked by all of the patching. I think that there was like this time period where it seemed like blink all-ins were getting, I mean, QXC and Cass might have a different opinion on this, but it seemed like blink all-ins were really fucking good for a period in time, and then Terrans were finally, towards the end, just figuring out how to deal with it. And then as soon as that happened, the map pool totally fucked all blink all-ins. The fucking Widow Mine got a buff back. The fucking Mothership Core Vision got like all this shit came in just as Terrans were finally like, oh, okay, blink all-in isn't that big of a deal. And it was like bam, like a huge fucking wave of like buffs and nerfs came in. And now Protoss, I think most people would agree now that PvT is a really heavily Terran favored matchup, at least in tournaments. I don't know what kind of Protoss cheeses there are in PvT, but at least in tournament play, PvT looks like so hopeless. Like, if Protosses weren't all subhuman pieces of shit, I would actually feel sorry for them watching how PvTs play out now, because it's really fucking rough in the late game.
I definitely agree with a lot of that. Like, there was so many changes to Protoss, like all at once combined with the maps, and I think part of the Terran stuff right now is the maps. You know, if you ask a Zerg or a Protoss, like, of these maps, like, which ones do you feel favored on? Oh, it's not very many. Almost everyone would. Yeah. It's like, oh, Overgrowth is like, it's
I don't
like,
lose automatically on that map.
Yeah, Overgrowth is fine, but like everyone vetoes Overgrowth because it's like the only map that's reasonable. You know, Protosses hate Merry-Go-Round, they hate Catalina.
Oh, Catalina, yeah.
Nimbus, a lot of people don't like because it's so hard to take a fourth because of the Doom drops. Oh.
All right. So, I mean, I think we all share an opinion on Protoss in this forum. But either way, I felt like 4GG's play was solid. He played against good players. These players weren't choking against him. They were giving him a run for his money, and he came out on top.
I like Life brought out the fucking Life brought out the Muslim excuses. The headphones were hurting my ears during the first match against 4GG, so I felt like I couldn't play well against him. Oh shit.
I don't like those headphones, the ones that make the noise.
The white noise in the background?
Yeah.
They're kind of annoying, but...
All right.
If you were a hardcore practicer, what you would really do is when you were at home streaming, you would put the white noise headphones on so that you'd be used to it. Send it to you.
Well, when my gold league ass is sitting at a open bracket DreamHack and kicking ass, then I'll start considering that kind of training. But not there yet. So we're gonna move into IEM. We're gonna go through this quick and wrap it up. IEM has some pretty awesome players.
Yeah, a lot of really good people qualified for it.
Well, let's see. We got.
Let's go over the list of who qualified for IEM.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Seems like a powerhouse.
Throw it to you in the Skype. I'm gonna throw it to the Twitch chat.
We can go through each region. Every region really had some incredibly strong players.
Yeah, man, that one Terran from America is looking super strong. He's in a group with Hero and Bomber, though.
Yeah,
so
holy fuck,
watch
my group is so hard. Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Well, easy. Very easy.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Well, Hero is not so strong lately, so don't worry.
Yeah.
You'll
So would you rather?
smash.
Would you
It's
think
And
Group A
over-
would be
Hero,
this
no
year?
big deal. He hasn't been strong lately.
Yep.
Group A.
And like you said, every map is favored by Terran, so no problem for you.
Yeah, but that doesn't work against Bomber.
Well, Bomber lost in the last major tournament to Terran, so you just watch that replay, you learn, and you easy win.
Yeah, totally.
Who did Bomber lose
That's
to?
all you have to
Bolt
do.
or-
It's so easy.
He lost to MMA.
Oh, MMA.
I think.
So just play better than MMA, and you got it.
Or
You don't have to play better than MMA. Just play as good as MMA.
the
Does
group.
Scarlet play the game anymore, or is she like taking a step back, or does anybody know?
You don't need to train if you're Zarek or Protoss.
The true feelings come out.
There we go. There we go.
She
I
played
detected a
him-
hint of Terran bias when he said earlier that Protosses can do proxy robo and not be behind if it fails. Totally. I don't know if that's true, but
That's coming from somebody who hasn't off raced very much. If you ever feel like your race is bad or you're at a disadvantage, try playing one of the other races, and you'll feel like you have the best race in the world.
wow.
Guy off races Protoss, and it's just like fucking, like goddamn, like nothing does anything. None of my units do
Wow.
anything.
You
Last
play
time
PvP, and then the mutants come, and you're like, "Fuck this!" With Protoss. Nope.
All right. So looking at these groups real quick, QXC. I think you could take Hero.
Aww.
I think you take Hero.
mean, like,
Yeah,
if
even
we
you
just
can-
look at statistics and things, I'm heavily favored to go like 0 and 100 in this group. But I've been playing better recently, and a lot of people, I don't think either of my opponents will be scouting much for me or really even care. They'll probably view me as a free win. So hopefully I can take them off guard and put on good games. I mean, there's not much more to it.
Yeah. So let's go back to Group B. First, Polt Jadong.
I think Jaedong is doomed.
Yeah. I hate to say it. I think.
He's been playing so bad lately.
Do you think
Yeah,
Polt
he's
can
really
take?
like inconsistent. I don't know. Some days Jadon seems like he's really on. Other times,
No.
I think.
Sometimes he dies to cannon rushes and stuff.
yeah.
Well, it is pretty good group for him. I think, like, first, he's really good, but he stayed long time in Europe. Everyone adapted for him, and a lot of European top players just beating him in Zotac and other tournaments. So I think he had a good run at DreamHack, but if you just watch 2-3 his replays, you will be easy adapt for players like first. He had his own style, but his style not so like crazy powerful or abusive. You can
So, like,
play versus him if you're a top player. It is very easy to play like players like first. This is my impression.
Mm.
So
So what?
it's very good group for Jaden. Better than like Bomber, Hero, or Hyun.
Mhm. All right. So what about Rain, Scarlet, Snoot? Scarlet. I mean, she's been great since she came back from Korea. But do you think she has a chance against Rain?
Didn't Scarlet just barely beat Huck in like a show match recently?
Yeah, 3-4.
That was a show
Yeah.
match, though. I mean, you saw her.
I mean, but it was Huck. Huck talks shit on me in my chat all the time, so now I'm gonna take advantage of that and talk shit about him. How would you compare Huck and Rain?
That's
Fair.
for someone else to say.
50-50.
You think so? Is Rain that bad? I don't know shit about Rain. I haven't heard anything from him in a long time.
Rain was at one point pretty damn good, but
Yeah, well, yeah.
Everyone, I think it is Artosis or someone from Twitter who just calling Rain like the best Protoss right now in the world, but it is like
Yes.
so long time we don't see Rain in action. So
I mean,
it
looking
is-
at some of his recent wins, like fucking
But- everyone
Yeah,
Casper,
I'm sorry,
every
he
time
beat like
Casper Protoss come to tournaments like this, they just stroke, and there's nothing what you can say. He will just win his group, that's all.
I mean, he beat Don Ragu, Petraeus, Sue, Solar, Effort, Impact, like all these people recently, like within
thing
like
is, like-
the last month.
For Rain, like we see, like, oh yeah, we haven't seen him in a long time, but he's like he's always code S, and he's almost always top 8. Like he's there doing his thing. It's just that I feel like a lot of the spotlight gets taken away from him because he's not one of those people who makes it all the way, like to the first spot. But he's been like consistently performing for a really long time. I don't think it's like I don't think he can ever really be underestimated. And he's got this sort of very I don't know. I would say a little bit different style than a lot of the Protosses. I feel like he's more reactive and like a little bit more safe.
Yeah.
all right. So last group, 4GG Major Hyun. 4GG is gonna leave that group.
It's hard to imagine him not after how well he just played, but we have seen time and time again players who have done exceedingly well recently. When they're put into another another competitive environment within a week or so, they tend to underperform.
Yeah.
Oh,
4GG.
still, I don't think it is enough for Luz in this group. Like Major, he stopped train like months ago, right? He don't practicing right now. I think 1 month ago I played show match or clan war versus Major, and I beat him. And he was playing so sloppy and with so many mistakes. He's like crazy good. I think it is best turn for Rainer if he train much. But if he don't train, it's like you can compare him to 4GG or Hyun. So I think Hyun and 4GG will be really big favorite here.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think that that wraps up. We had a pretty awesome set of matches in the Legacy of the Void test map, thanks to JaKaTaK and his team. $75 going to QXC, who won 2-1 over Cass. We are then we talked a little bit about 4GG. We made the cliche balance wine about Protoss, even though they're on a downswing, we still hate the fuck out of them. And yeah, and then we talked a little bit about IEM, so I think it was a good show, guys. This is where we wrap it up. Cass, this is your first time on. I want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you for playing. Don't forget to send me your PayPal in a private message after. But do you have any shout-outs, anything you want to say, Twitter handle plug, all that stuff?
Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for all my fans who cheering and supporting me. Also to my team, what is really great. I really enjoying my staying in this team Cascade right now. And yeah, follow me on Twitter, CascadeCas, and see you.
All right, thanks, Cass. Kevin, good to have you back on. You were traveling a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing. You have any shout-outs, anything coming up?
So I'm going to IEM San Jose. I'll be leaving in about 2 days. You should check out my games there. Hopefully they won't be terrible. And besides that, just check me out on Twitter at Cole_QXC. And probably after San Jose, I'll be doing some more streaming. Cole_QXC? Cole.QXC?
Cole_QXC.
Nope, just ColeQXC at Twitch. Check that out. Big thanks to my team, Complexity Gaming, for allowing me to continue my StarCraft dreams. And big thanks to you for having me on the show again. Hope we can do it again sometime soon. Definitely need to do some of the Terran vs. Zerg, Terran vs. Protoss in that Legacy of the Void map.
Absolutely. If there are any pros watching right now, consider this an open invite. Send me a tweet on Twitter at LikenGTV, same as the Twitch channel name, or send me a message through here on Twitch. If you're a pro and you want to get in on that, it's a $100 prize pool and we're going to probably do a couple of these for a while until beta comes out. We'll see. JaKaTaK, this is all possible with the legacy stuff because of you and your team, so thank you for that. Anything you want to say? Anything coming up? Any shout-outs?
First of all, I just want to stress that like I kind of helped put the team together and like get people to where they are, but like the work is like 99.99,000% of like all the people. December's Calm is helping out in the project. Xevious from Starbow is helping out in the project. Soul Filter does so much work. If you see most of the models there, Patrick and all of them. And if you want to check out what they're up to, what's going on with them, you scroll down to the bottom of the thread, you look at the end of the video, we have the credit section. It has all of their IDs and what they're all responsible for, what they're all doing. So definitely check that out and give them some love because they absolutely do a ridiculously good job. If you want to check me out, everything is JaKaTaK SC2. So Twitter, JaKaTaK SC2, Facebook, JaKaTaK SC2, YouTube, JaKaTaK SC2, as well as Tutorial Central SC2. Shout out to the chat for being hilarious and saying hilarious things and keeping me on my toes. And of course, Lycan for hosting the show and everybody for hanging out and talking to me. And if you want to support what I do is I make content on YouTube. If you like it, you can watch it. And if you really like it, you can help me to continue to do it by donating on Patreon. So it's patreon.com/JaKaTaKSC2. If you don't, then don't. Whatever.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Steven, your turn.
Shout out to everybody that watches me and loves me. Shout out to everybody that bought shit on Black Friday. I got a lot of people using my affiliate link, which is cool shit. Which you can find at destiny.gg/Amazon. Wow. Shout out to all the guys that came on the show. I hope that JaKaTaK was able to raise money for his stuff. I talked about the little on stream last night that the content creators are vacating this area, so it's nice to keep as many of them around as possible. Shout out to Lycan for hosting this wonderful show. Shout out to Matalis for winning the Swedish Gamer of the Year award. Congratulations on that. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, that wraps up the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. I am Lycan. You can check out me at LycanGTV. Please help me with my attention horror addictionness and follow me on Twitter. If you like what you see, please follow on here so you get alerts when the show comes back on. I'm going to bring Scrubs back on. There are 2 episodes of Scrubs on YouTube, youtube.com/user/LycanGTV. I did one with Swindle Melons from Complexity and one with Eggy, who is now teamless, but he used to be with Root with Hearthstone. Going to do StarCraft next, so keep an eye out for that. And that is it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you guys, guests, for coming on, and we'll see you next week.